welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss the relationship between Aquarius and Pisces. So these two is an idea of rationality meeting emotionality. They do make an okay mix. For an intimate relationship, I give them about 60% compatibility. The reason being is, on a sexual level, if they can get past the differences in their perspectives, they can have a very great sex life. There's more on this that I can discuss in another sort of scenario. I cannot really delve too deep on the sexual comparison on YouTube, but just know that they do have a pretty spiritual sexual life. Aquarius is definitely about meeting the higher heavens. They govern the 11th house, and then of course Pisces governs that 12th house. So they do have a bit of a spiritual bond when they do get that connection. That's very rare. A lot of sun signs can't actually obtain the type of connection that these guys can get. And a lot of people have even, it's been rumored that these guys, when they have that sexual gratification from each other, can even reach things such as like more Kundalini energy and access their chakras and their manifestation abilities. But that's a whole other topic in itself. When it comes to trust between these two, it's a bit odd. They do trust each other. The thing is, the Aquarius will have an issue with the Pisces because they'll look at them as a bit too emotional, a bit too in the moment, a bit too impulsive. And the Pisces person will view them as somebody who's not really sharing their true feelings. Or if they view them as somebody who just doesn't have feelings, they're going to view them as not very trustworthy because they're a bit too logical. They're not willing to let loose and be in the moment with them. So as a result, they don't end up getting along when it comes to leading to the next topic, communication. Their communication could be pretty good. They do both have a wide variety of things to talk about. Pisces is somebody who can go from one topic to the next very quickly and flow with it and understand what they're saying, the context of what's happening, and they can definitely have very good fact-based arguments. Aquarius can definitely do the same thing. They do not rely on anybody else's opinion. They're independent-minded completely. They're the mavericks out of the zodiacs, and they're definitely able to really get across what they're trying to say. Their perspective is definitely going to be known by people, whether they want to pretty much hear that or not. The issue with the communication for the most part would simply be that the Aquarius can be a bit critical. Like Aquarius people can take criticism like it's nothing. I'll go right through them. They're cold, they're attached in a relationship, friendship, whatever it is. They treat it like business. They don't really care. But the problem is that Pisces in itself will actually care. They're going to care about what you're saying. They're going to care about how you're saying it. And this can be bothersome to the Aquarius. And this is where certain situations would lead to them having problems because of the communication, I guess I would say, strategies that they have. This leads to issues between them saying, well, one person's just going to say, this person's a bit too critical, bit too of a nitpicker. They're just going in on everything that's wrong with me. This is the Pisces. And the Aquarius person will be like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to enhance you. I'm trying to actually make you self-actualize. So they both come from a good place, but sometimes the way in which they communicate could just be very misinterpreted. My advice particularly would simply be to look at what your partner is saying, not from an emotional basis if you're the Pisces. Look at it from a logical mind perspective. Are they saying something that's actually going to benefit you, even if it sounds critical and negative? Or is it something that's just completely not constructive and they're just trying to bring you down? Those are two very different things. And if you're an Aquarius person, you work on your filtration of your words. You guys have excellent communication skills right next to Gemini. Use those communication skills to bridge what you want to say correctly, but make sure that what you're saying is understood by the Pisces person and make sure that you are not hurting their feelings in the process. You guys are very much able to do this. You don't have to lie, you don't have to manipulate them, but just filter your words a bit. Sometimes what you guys can say is a bit harsh and you view it as normal because that's maybe the way you were brought up or just the way in which that you communicate on the regular, regardless of your environment. Okay? Next, I just want to discuss the business aspect between these two. These guys are about 70% compatible for business. They can open any sort of charitable organization. The arts is okay. They definitely could do that as well, but medical practices and charities, even things such as like religion, like occult sciences, things like that is where they really do well. The Pisces person has that spiritual sort of energy, that spiritual awareness to kind of find a higher purpose, but they need help with grounding it. The fixed energy of the Aquarius can definitely help them in a business context, getting their ideas across. So it would be better if the Pisces person, like what I was always saying with the Scorpios as well, if they're more so behind the scenes, more so being not necessarily the thinker, but the person that's kind of innovating new ideas. And the Aquarius person is somewhat more in charge when it comes to the business dialogue and the direction in which the business is going. If they're able to channel that energy in that sort of way, they're going to be highly successful. But if they're not, then they're going to lead to a lot of problems, just because Pisces is, of course, a mutable sign, so Aquarius may not necessarily like the way in which you guys do business. If you guys let Aquarius handle the business sort of dialogue, while you guys make sure you're innovating new ideas, being the creative in any sort of environment that you're in, then that's where it's going to work a lot better. Of course, if you're in something like a medical practice or something of that sort, then it may be a little bit different how you guys go about it. It depends what you guys went to school for, what your specialties are. That's just where common sense comes in, but the same context still does remain. If you guys are able to find a way where you each can shine by using your natural born skills, it's going to work a lot better. Last but not least, we have the friendship between these two. Friendship works pretty good. I'd say 65% it would work. Reason being, Aquarius is really good at connecting with new people to a certain extent if they're like-minded with them. It's similar to how Virgo is. If they're like-minded individuals, they can get along with them and they can communicate and have a great sort of context in their communication, because they're going to have similar views. Or at least if the person has a high IQ and is able to keep up with the Aquarius's mind, they can have a great debate with them. If this is not the case, which is sometimes with Pisces, where I'm not saying you guys are dumb or low IQ, but where you guys have more of an emotional intelligence. You guys are more so coming at things from a spiritual involvement, from a sixth sense. Aquarius has this as well, but they more so rely on their mind, and they kind of use both. They use that higher sense, but they really, really rely on their mind and their logic, especially when it comes to anything that's going to come down to it.